Hey guys, Carbonyl Dota here, looking at another replay lane breakdown. Today I'm going to be playing position 1 Spectre, I have a position 5 Warlock, and they have a position 3 Omni and a position 4 Chen. So let's break down this lane and take a look at what's going on. So, our heroes, are they a good lane combo? Yeah, Spectre Warlock is a pretty classic combo. Basically, you just play off your really high sustain, Spectre has dispersion, and you don't take a lot of damage, and it lets you just kind of sit in the lane and farm a lot. So we've got a pretty good combo going on. On their end, Omni Chen is kind of weird. They do eventually control CS pretty well. Omni's base damage is 64 compared to me at 54. And he'll be getting, usually like strength items. And this Chen, once he has a creep, if he gets like a small camp creep, those are pretty good for like helping to deny. So their CS control is going to be really good, but they're not going to like target and threaten us that much. So that's probably kind of how they'll like be looking to play the lane, but there's not a lot of kill threat here from their heroes, and I wouldn't say this is a particularly good like combo of two heroes because neither one of them provides enough damage to really be a kill threat. Thinking about the core matchup, he has more base damage than I do. He's going to CS a little bit better, and his spells are just better for trading overall, so I'm not really looking to trade with him at all. Usually this will mean defensive aggro, focusing on CS. Support matchup, I can't say I'm 100% sure how this goes. I don't think either one is really good at harassing out the other until Chen is a creep. And then Warlock can't really mess around with what's going on there. Neither one of them has any sort of kill threat on the other one and doesn't really look to set up kills on the other one. In terms of all four heroes, the 2v2, they just kind of based on the core matchup, they'll just out-trade us, especially if Chen has a creep. We just don't really win trades at all, just based on how our heroes work. However, if we do like find this Chen out of position, or if the Chen leaves and it's 2v1 against the Omni, there's some cases where we can maybe get favorable trades. If Omni ever leaves and it's 1v2 where I'm against both of them, they still don't really threaten to kill me. I do have to kind of play safe because they can just put heavy harass on me if my positioning is bad. And in the reverse 1v2, if Chen leaves and Warlock and I are here, we can maybe take a somewhat decent trade with the Omni, but it's still probably not going to be super favorable for us, just given that he, regens is part of his sustained sort of like brain sap. That just doesn't really bode well for us because we're just not good trading heroes in general. So we can look to harass him a little bit, but in general, it's more of an opportunity for me to CS easier than it is for us to like be aggressive or look for a kill. Something I didn't talk about in the previous videos in this series that I need to start mentioning is lane power spikes. Those can be really important in determining like when the aggression should be turned up or when you need to be looking out for the opponent aggression. In this game, our two heroes don't really have any like important power spikes. We kind of just scale linearly in terms of our sustainability, but there's no point where we suddenly get to a point where we have like significant threat on the enemies. For them, I think it's kind of the same. Like Chen level 5 would be like a power spike because you can get a big creep. But otherwise, they scale pretty linearly as well, and at no point, like, a lot of times level 2 is significant because they have both their spells, but even at level 2, they don't really pose a lot of kill threat unless they catch Warlock, like, way out of position. So there's no real power spikes we need to worry about on their end either in the laning phase. So for pull camps in this lane, I don't think them getting a pull off is that terrible for us. It's probably not ideal, especially if Chen has a creep and they're capable of like putting out a lot of aggression while I have to like try and worry about CSing. But like I said, they don't have a ton of kill threat, so it's not the end of the world. For us, getting off small pulls could be nice. It's a lot of what Warlock likes to do in lanes where he's like kind of just healing his carry. It's how he can get XP and like give the carry solo XP without like just sitting around like trading, because that's just not really what Warlock does. So small pulls are nice for us, but they're probably not going to be too essential. And Omni is going to be pushing this lane in for the most part with his Q, as long as I'm not spamming Dagger and Warlock's not spamming Fatal Bonds. And that means the lane should be good for us. They could look to pull, so our Warlock did block with the sentry. There. If we can deny that pull from them, that's good. But it's not crucial like it is sometimes. Let's talk about the mid matchup real quick. Lash vs Storm. They have the Storm, so I need to be on the lookout for Storm rotations, especially once he's 6, and especially around like rune timings. Our Warlock wouldn't really be considering going to the runes, and their Chen maybe can go to the runes as a position 4. Neither of these heroes are that great at like securing runes though. Big red flag for me is Storm coming to gank me, really susceptible to that. And also just to consider that like Lesh is not a hero that likes to rotate a lot. And this is not a lane he'd be particularly inclined to rotate to, because the two heroes he'd be rotating to help, Warlock and Spectre, do not offer any particular kill threat. So he doesn't get a lot out of coming here, and I shouldn't really expect him to. So when is this lane going to end? Either A, if I'm really afraid of Storm, which would require me paying attention to where Storm is and needing to know that I need to be afraid of him. But if I'm really afraid of Storm and I just need to leave, because if I don't leave and he shows up, I die. Alternatively, eventually this Omni is going to get to a point where he just has the sustain to just continually out-trade me and bully me around the creep wave, and I just cannot CS against him. His base damage is going to be way higher than mine. There's nothing I can really do to offset that or give myself a strong advantage when it comes to getting last hits. So at a certain point in this lane, I'm not sure exactly when that is, it just will no longer be efficient for me to be sitting here trying to out-CS this Omni. So when that point comes, you know, maybe it's going to be like 7-8 minutes. It will be time for me to like go jungle, maybe come back to the tower if the creeps are pushed under my tower to like defend it. But just CSing the lane against Omni at a certain point is just going to become not efficient, and I should look to leave at that point. That'll kind of be when the lane is over. Alternatively, like at 10 minutes, if Chen gets a big creep and they take our tower, that is also an indication that the lane is over. And I would not be defending if they were to do that, because this hero does not defend towers well. So given all that, what's the game plan? Last hitting, looking to, you know, defensive creep aggro, don't take trades with the Omni Knight, itemize to sustain, and notice I started stick, and then itemize to, you know, go to the jungle ASAP. I don't get a Wraith Band because I don't want to trade with this guy. I'm just going to go Wand, Components of Treads. You can pick up Bassi. I don't, because Warlock has one already. So I do end up picking up a Casual Sage's Mask, and then I'm just going to go straight into the items that are going to help me scale for later, which in this game is like Yasha first, so I can pick up Manta. Also, I need to be cognizant of the Storm being missing so that I don't die to a gank. That would be the plan. Skill build is something I should talk about as well, because we're not going to be really aggressive. I don't really need to max out Dagger. The common build right now is to max out Dispersion. It just like gives you more sustain, makes you take less damage so that your, you know, HP regen goes further, and makes you just a little bit harder to kill overall. And then the Dispersion effect kind of helps while you're jungling, and I know I'll need to be jungling relatively early in this game. So I'm going to be looking to go 2-0-4 in this lane, and that will get me into the jungle as needed and hopefully help me sustain as long as possible in this lane until I decide that I can't be here anymore. With all that being said, let's take a look at how the lane goes. I'm going to watch this pretty fast because watching a last hit carry is kind of boring, so we're really just going to be focusing on like what's going on in the lane. I'll keep an eye on everybody, not just me, and I'll talk about relevant things that come up, but otherwise we'll just kind of see how it plays out. So I should really look to be doing a lot of defensive aggro like this so that I have free CS and he's not there to contest, because when he's there to contest, he hits the creeps harder than I do, and it's just hard to secure CS in that situation. Chen plays well here. He's got a creep, kind of denying our full camp and then farming it because he can just do that. But notice that doesn't really translate into aggression on us. I did get my wand just for the sustain.
You have my thanks.
Notice I'm just really focused on creeps. I kind of wander over here when the creeps are gone to see if I can pressure Chen, but if I can't, that's fine. If they pressure me, I kind of just walk away. I'm not really a kill threat, but they do force me away from the creeps, which is all I care about.
Ooh, dire. You gotta fortify them, their structures. Good work.
Finish my treads, first item after wand. You can see right now I'm a little ahead of this Omni in CS, but fairly soon he's going to start to overtake me, and it's really just going to become non-efficient for me to be here. I'm also really low here, and if you notice, Storm TP's in. He's 6, it's 7:30. I should really be more cognizant here that we might get dove. we have no vision, and then they just get a good dive on us. And, you know, Warlock heals, but he does not save. And, you know, I switched to Strength Treads. I did all I could. Maybe a Raindrop would have saved me here. I could have considered grabbing a Raindrop. It doesn't do anything against the heroes in my lane, but maybe I survived this gank, because the Storm's, like, out of mana at this point. And I think I, like, just barely died. So maybe I should have had a Raindrop in anticipation of this Storm coming. That would have been kind of sick. Other than that, I mean, I was under my own tower when they dove me, so it's like, what can I do? You know, even if I knew he was coming, if we had a ward, that would have been nice. Even if I had been like 10k MMR awareness, I still might have felt safe there and died anyways. It's hard to say. So I'm dead, and when this sort of situation happens as carry, where their mid ganks you, it's really, really important to not immediately just go back to your lane unless you know that they're mid left, because a lot of times in this high level, the Storm can like stick around, right? Like you get bottled, like have a clarity, or somebody will give a mana somehow. ITB back to this lane, and they just rinse and repeat, right? Which is a total grief. So you notice I respawn, I'm not doing anything. I'm waiting, I don't see Storm, and then I see Storm mid. What I had actually started doing is I started walking out of my base. We're on my perspective. So I'm kind of waiting to see this Storm. I don't see the Storm, so I start walking out of base. And then as soon as I see the Storm, I go back to the fountain and then TP. So this is just important to do, just because you have to be afraid of that carry killing you again if you don't see them. Like, I hadn't seen him at all from when I died to like when he showed there. Alright, fast forwarding again. So nothing crazy has happened in this lane. It's a lot of sustain, but I feel like my item builds and skill builds kind of went into how I wanted to play the lane. And at this point, I see this haunt opportunity and I take it because I'm not really super excited about being in my lane anymore anyways. Storm can always threaten to come kill me again. I've hit 6, and like I said, at a certain point, I'm just not going to want to lane against this Omni, and I just feel like I'm going to be more a threat being in my lane than just like starting my jungle farming pattern. So that's going to be the end of this video. Hopefully you like this from the carry perspective. It was a little simple since the lane inhabitants were all of us just kind of chilled and like played for farm. There weren't a lot of kills. But I think the itemization is important. All these things are good to consider. And, you know, hopefully you learned something. Also, just so you guys know, I do coaching. I have a Discord that I'll link in the description below. And you can join the Discord and reach out to me if you are interested in getting coached by me. Otherwise, feel free to subscribe to this channel if you like what you saw. I've been uploading pretty regularly, and I do upload a lot of my coaching sessions as well, in addition to like educational content like this. If there's anything else you want to see, you can let me know, and maybe I'll, you know, get an idea from somebody. But other than that, have a good one, guys. See you in the next video.